So our last question is really just more of a collaborative, let's hear you doing, let's get some suggestions going. I am wondering if each person on the call, you don't have to respond, but we have enough time if you would like to, if each person on the call could recommend at least one piece of healthy, educational, or inspiring media for the group. So that is a book, a podcast, a TV series, a movie, anything that you loved or something that blew your mind. So I'm wondering if, Ben, do you have a healthy piece of educational or inspiring media that you can share with the group?
Well, no surprise to Ian, at least. I'm kind of a one-trick pony. I have my nose in the Bible all the time. So that may not be the most popular answer in modern culture, but next week, pretty much a week from today, there's a really important holiday that's biblical that kind of requires people to stay inside their homes for the day. It's called Passover, but in Hebrew it's called Pesach, and it's obviously what Good Friday is sort of spun off on in Christian culture. But it's just really fascinating to read that story and realize how staying indoors was a requirement. So I think every human being in America and on the face of the earth can relate to the idea of a quarantine. I don't think the Bible had months and months in mind, but at least for this one night, we can really relate to the heroes of a timeless book, and kind of put ourselves in their shoes.
That's great. It's beautiful. Thank you. Ion, anything that you can share with the group?
Yes, absolutely. Every morning, 6 o'clock, I listen to Darren Hardy 5 minutes motivational video. 5 minutes, that's all. Every day. And actually, if you don't watch that today, tomorrow will be taken away. Basically, he said that you have to change small habits in order to be successful. Also, I like to mention and to share the group, I subscribe to Audible. I have the Audible app, so when I go walk around, I can listen books on tape. So the last book I read or listened on the Audible is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. That book talks about how when people set up goals at the end of the year, that's very unrealistically, because goals can only be accomplished and achieved by changing small habits. So those are the two pieces of tips or tricks I can share with the group. And I will not forget the fact that, like Ben, I'm involved and believe in the power of God. And I'm very excited to share that actually my church brought me on their board beginning of the year to bring technology into the church. And they were kind of said, no, we don't do this in January. And today, in these days, the church has a Zoom channel, a YouTube channel, the website, the pay now button, the everything technology. So the church keeps going using the technology and digital space.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Ion. All right, we're going to open it up to the group. Looking for a piece of relevant, healthy, educational, inspirational media. I'll pause to see if there are any suggestions. Dale, go ahead. Thank you.
I recently reread the two Jungle books. The original Jungle Book that I grew up with, and I didn't realize there was actually a second Jungle Book, and it's by Rudyard Kipling, and I really enjoyed the book very much, but it was very interesting because I also found it was very relevant to what we're going through now, because as I reflect on the lessons in the book, there's a little baby who gets separated from his mother and he grows up in a wolf pack and he learns the laws of the jungle and he has to use his brain. He doesn't have the same type of weaponry that the other animals are born with. And there comes a time in the middle of the book where all of the animals who are very compliant with the laws of the jungle, and they're also hyper competitive, they undergo a drought that becomes life-threatening, and they invoke what they call a truce. It's a water truce. and all of the species gather around the watering hole, and they all observe this truce, and they let each other drink and stay alive. And I feel that right now we're having a worldwide water truce. And we can forget our differences, and we can forget our competition, and we can embrace our common humanity and help each other drink from the watering hole.
Thank you, Dale. Very powerful story. I love that. Anybody else? We still have several minutes. I would love to continue hearing. Yes, Danny.
Okay, so mine, it comes from my childhood, and there's this book, and it's called The Saggy Baggy Elephant, and I don't remember who wrote it, but it talks about, it's kind of similar to what Dale's talking about, but just on a smaller scale, how the elephants didn't embrace the little one and made fun of it, and because it was different. But by the end of the book, this little elephant had the courage to do amazing things that they weren't expecting, and then became the hero. So that one always brings a smile to my face. I'll bring that one up with my daughter. She's now 21. She rolls her eyes at me, but it's still one near and dear to my heart. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been a while since I've read that one. I do remember it. All right. Who else? Yeah, go ahead, Don. Thank you.
Yeah, I read a lot of books. I'm also on Audible, so me and Ian share different books back and forth. But one of the ones I came back to that I haven't read in a while, I don't know if you guys like Robert Kiyosaki. He's real estate, money-based a lot, but he's also life lessons and changing different ways that you behave. And then, as everybody probably knows that knows me, Grant's book here. This one's a little one. It's only, I don't know, 50 pages or something. But you can get this one free. I think it was free. It probably still is at millionairebooklet.com. And I go in here in the morning sometimes when I just want to get my head straight, where I want to get out of home life and daddy life, and I want to get into business life. And I'll go ahead and read a couple pages of this, kind of get me back on track, and like you said, put some pants on.
Thank you so much, Don. Who else? Okay, I'll give you mine then, and I think Ion may finish us up today, but I'll give you mine. A book that I read before the coronavirus crisis started. It's called Quantum Leap Thinking. The author's name is James Mapes. The book came to me just kind of out of a really strange circumstance. I did not, it was passed to my fiance, through to me, and I decided to give it a look. It was really, really powerful. It's about the power of visualization to change your life, and in a very practical, scientific, philosophical, psychological way. So I really got a lot of tools from that book that were very, very powerful. And my other piece of media, nobody has talked about a video game yet. So I'm going to give you guys a video game. If you're gamers, if your kids are, this is appropriate for everybody. I played a game not too long called Abzu. It's ABZU. It is an exploration game underwater. Your character just swims through these vast oceans of beautiful, exotic, crazy wildlife and flowers and fish. And it's just really, really gorgeous and really relaxing. So good for everybody, good for all ages. Highly, highly recommend. Anybody else before we kick it back to Ion? Any other media or suggestions?